Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to more esports news. Amidst all of the progress, or maybe a lack thereof progress, kind of more of a mystery as to where OpTic's going to go in the future, we've broken it down over several videos here on the channel, which I'm sure at least a few of you guys are aware of. I wanted to have another video out there about all of the lost people of the former Green Wall, that being the people who have been released or of course have also quit OpTic Gaming, along to the teams they've also lost along the way. A bit of a remembrance and also kind of a bit of a sadder story for today. So I do apologize for that, guys, but a brief overview. We're actually going to go all the way back to late 2017 when Mr. Neil Liebman first joined up with them, that being Infinite Entertainment alongside him, and the umbrella that did become all the teams you did once know, it did begin back then. Now, it was actually, though, not too much longer after that where we lost our first huge creator and what could be seen as the eventual downfall, and maybe Pomaj was one of them as well, and that being our loss of Pomaj. He actually was one of the first content creators to leave this, and certainly one of the biggest alongside them. He actually did announce in his announcement video that apparently his future did not align with that of other people being involved, that being the organization, possibly because of the acquirement of Infinite Entertainment. And we did see throughout the remainder of 2018 what once was, it broke down very, very fast, as I'm sure you guys are aware. As it was within 2018 alone, well, hold tight with me, guys, because they lost all of the following players alongside them, the teams with it. The Fortnite lineup, guys, lasted, well, it came and gone pretty fast. Along with the PUBG lineup, of course, a Dota 2 roster led by PPD, otherwise known as Peter Pan Dam. They lasted one international and then thus thereafter disbanded. A championship Halo team, you guys know, Snakebite and the Fellows, was also let go with plenty of surprise. So after that year of 2018, what remained after getting rid of about a couple of dozen players? Well, still plenty. Actually, the umbrella was as wide as it could have been, especially under Infinite Entertainment, as many of us did see them trying to sign just about every esport they could. And at one point in time, OpTic had really fingers in just about every esport you can think of, besides a few minute ones. Now, after getting rid of those couple of dozen players, those 1, 2, 3, 4 rosters we just discussed throughout 2018, what did remain? It was still quite a bit. The first of which was their LCS spot, that being their League of Legends roster. Alongside that, a decent CSGO team, an Overwatch team in Houston Outlaws, and with that, another franchise spot in the OWL, an absolutely dominant championship level Gears of War team who is still the #1 team in the world ever since their release, and they're noted, their most notorious roster of all time, their Call of Duty roster. So still after a very rough 2018, of course, that kind of constriction did begin. Alongside that, the selling off of many teams inside the organization itself. A few did remain, and people still held their heads high as to a supposed future until that did come the takeover of Immortals Gaming Club, who bought out Infinite Entertainment, and with it, the OpTic Gaming brand. And what we have seen ever since then, I am sure you guys do know about this story, we have seen the sale of just about every roster I did just mention. The Houston Outlaws sold, along with that, the OWL spot, although, you know, some faith here, guys. We don't exactly know the buyer quite yet for that. A CSGO roster is still up for sale to this day. It's actually taken quite some time to sell that roster, but they eventually probably will be bought out, and if not, they will be let go. Along with that, their LCS spot, another franchise spot, will be sold off and actually rebranded to Immortals Gaming Club, who already own the spot. They already own the OpTic Gaming name. They'll rebrand that team to the Immortals name next split as well. And then very lastly, the Gears of War team was the most recent team to be let go from the organization, and we are all very sure they will find a place to be. And now, most notoriously, the only remaining team, as I'm sure you guys know about this, the Call of Duty roster does remain under the OpTic Gaming name, set to play for the CWL in 2020 next year. Although, will it be the same roster we know that today? I think a lot of us think it's pretty obvious it will not be those same guys currently on the roster, whether it's a couple leaving, all of them leaving. I think a lot of us can agree at least one of those members, or if not more, will change. And yes, they will potentially play, though, under that OpTic Gaming brand inside the CWL and one of those few limited spots. If you guys do want to come back later, though, we're going to talk about the fight for potentially another LA spot for the CWL if you are Call of Duty fans. And luckily enough, Immortals Gaming Club and OpTic Gaming actually did land the spot. So if you are a fan of these guys or the OpTic Gaming name, that is kind of your one last rejoice, because they will be playing next year. The giant question is, what team will they be playing with? So after all of that, you know, of course, the spiral starts with Pomaj. They've lost so many countless players, nearly 10 full teams. On top of that, what does remain is a Call of Duty roster. But what kind of hits home about this video and why I wanted to do that is because more content creators are leaving potentially, and it does strike here at home, although I'm not worried about many of them. I think a lot of these guys are very talented and already have gone on to bigger and better opportunities. But let's start that short list as well of other creators that OpTic Gaming has now let go. First of all, you have Blackbeard, who has now already moved on to social media for 100T, so congrats to him. Typo from the design team has now also joined Luminosity. He will also be joined by another brother, that being Expect from the former OpTic Gaming roster, and that's going to be from the animation team. He has now also joined Luminosity Gaming alongside Typo. We also have Chris, one of the best photographers in the game, was also cut and now doing some freelance work. Ashley Midnight, can't forget about her. She supposedly has also been cut, although she remains to this day to say she is always OpTic until Hector himself cuts her from the lineup, so we'll see where that one goes. And then we have Aaron, otherwise known as OpTic Create as well, supposedly also done even after he had been doing all of their merch drops, which they were still dropping, and apparently he is, I think he's, again, a lot of mystic tweets out there, guys, Instagram posts. I imagine he is now also done with OpTic Gaming, but the one that hits me the hardest, and I think a lot of you guys who are diehard OpTic fans as well, is Hitch. Hitch has now been tweeting some I wouldn't even say cryptic, some mysterious tweets the last couple of days, which does seem he'll be making the option of potentially, going towards this TST, this Team Summertime thing, and not pursuing whatever is the future with Hector, even if he was offered. I'm sure we will know sometime in the future, and of course, I'll break it down for all of you guys. Yes, we do have other people out there I would still worry about. You have the Mboses, the Maniacs, the Big T's. God, you're really curious where that guy's going to go, so on and so forth, right? Flamesword included in that are still a part of OpTic Gaming, but surely, I would say slowly but surely, a lot of these guys are announcing their leave of absence or their leave completely of OpTic Gaming, and I'm sure sometime very soon, in these next few weeks, we're going to find out what that future might be. After all of that being said, guys, countless players, countless creators have now been let go out of the brand. It's just kind of shocking to see it all come to some slow fruition here as we do find out what the future might be. As always, my name is Jake. I hope you guys all enjoyed this somewhat pretty sad episode, so you probably didn't enjoy it. I'll be back here all day long, though, breaking down other esports news. I hope you guys all enjoy it, and until then, have some coffee. Take care.